Today, I'm gonna show you the craziest LEGO weapons I've built on Brick Science, from level 1 all the way to level 100, starting simple with some LEGO ninja weapons. First, let's see what a real sword does, so we have a benchmark for our LEGO weapons. Don't do this at home. This really is like Fruit Ninja in real life. Now that we've set the bar, we're gonna build some LEGO weapons. Starting with the LEGO axe. So I found these pieces, which are like little half moons, and they're pretty sharp. So I'm thinking if we put two of these together, like this, we should have a pretty good axe shape, and then kind of like build it down here. Don't worry, we're gonna be building a katana at the end of this video. We just need to figure out how to connect these so that they don't break apart, and then we'll add a Technic connection for the handle. I just put some plates in between the halves to like lock the pieces together. The reason I put those plates in between there is because we can take these brackets and snap them like this on the inside, and now we can lock these two halves together like that, so it'll be like really sturdy. That's the only weak spot so far, okay? We'll line it with brackets, and then we can lock it together with some Technic bricks. And I'm just gonna keep building this out with different bricks and pieces to make it a lot stronger, and then we'll connect it to a handle. I built in these Technic bricks with 2 plates thickness in between, so now snap together a couple of these lift arms and put that inside there. And then we can just put some axles through. Genius. Now we got these guys sticking out. For the handle, what I'm gonna do is start by building up a bunch of these pieces, connecting these Technic bricks end to end, and then we can come in on the outside with our detail pieces. That should be plenty long enough. Now we're gonna put 2 layers of plates on top of this and build another one so we can make a really, really strong handle. But for now, we can connect these like this. Hey, this might work really, really well. Now we just gotta build the outside of the handle to make it look nice. So I'm gonna take a bunch of these pieces, snap some pins on the inside, and now we can allow this to cross-lock together, this like that, all the way up the handle. Then we'll put some other detail bricks and slopes on, and the axe should be complete. We can test it out. This thing is so cool. As you can see, I added some gold highlights on the side here, and this thing is pretty sturdy and pretty durable. Our goal is to make a nice fruit salad by the end of the video. So we're gonna test it out on some smaller fruits first, like an orange. Here we go. Eye protection is important. I gotta go center orange here. Dude, not a single piece is broken off of this. I'm actually really impressed. Look at this orange. Oh, I bet that tastes really good. Next up, we got some strawberries, because why not? It's more of like a pulverizer than an actual slicing tool. Oh, one piece broke off. Where'd that come from? Oh, on the handle. Let's test it on a watermelon. You know, that's some pretty good damage. Like, it didn't break it. Are you okay? Sorry. Well, it didn't work very well on the watermelon, but on the other fruits, it killed it. Since this one doesn't cut, I'll give it like a 5 out of 10. It works really well. Where's my bowl? I'm not kidding about the fruit salad. Let's build the next one. For this next weapon, I wanna build a dagger. And I'm gonna build this in 2 halves that are identical, and then we'll snap them together with the handle. We're gonna need some long bricks, like these guys. What we're gonna do is we're gonna add 2 plates to the bottoms of each one. So now on top of these, we're gonna put some brackets. It's like this. Check it out. Whoosh. We just gotta snap them together and add a plate. There is one thing I'm a little worried about. These pieces up here separating like that. And since we don't want that, what I'm gonna do is grab one of these pieces. There's a secret Lego technique that's super illegal that I'm gonna use. Some of these pieces, these little hinges, have these little red things in them that make them hinge. And these are official Lego. They're the perfect width to go between 2 bricks and hold them together, back to back. This is awesome. Okay, after a quick little rebuild, we've attached these 2 pieces with the same thing at the end, these 2 slopes. The key here is to get the perfect ninja slopes. So what you do is you attach some slopes like this, and then you wanna taper it off, so you make the piece longer and longer. And then the next one would be this, which is 6 long. We just basically taper that shape up until we get the ninja blade design we want. The one last thing I wanna add to this is a little ring to the end, and we should be good to go. Next up, we have the dagger. This thing has a beautiful shape. I don't know what they call this. It's a ninja weapon. So let's test it on a watermelon, why not? The watermelons are gonna be the heftiest things of this video. Let's see. It's sharp, but not sharp enough. I think I can get it if I get a good stab. You know, not as bad as I expected. This is pretty good. Did you hear that? Wow, this is a pretty good weapon. It only broke the first time. I think the stickiness of the juice is holding it together. So it works to stab. The only thing that's breaking is the part that's not supposed to, which is the blade. I'd give this one 4 out of 10 just because it can't cut, but you see what it did to this watermelon. Like, just look at this. It just tore into that completely. That's pretty cool. Let's build the next one. The next weapon I wanna build is a long sword. The reason I wanna build a long sword is because a short sword wouldn't be that fun. So I'm gonna start with the base made out of Technic bricks like we built before, and then we'll build it up off that. As you can see, it's long enough. Let's stick with this just like this as the inside of the frame, and then we'll use some plates and wedge plates to actually build up the sword part. So if we grab some plates in different varying sizes, let's build up a layer all the way down with these 4x plates. And then we'll come in and do a few more layers in the middle to actually make it sharp. What I'm gonna do is go all the way down this with some tiles, like so. We're getting there. It's looking like a Lord of the Rings sword. Now, we're gonna put on that other layer to make it sharp on the bottom. I actually do have a bunch of these pieces, so I'm gonna take these cheese slopes and put them all along the edge of the sword. That way, it'll give it the sharp aesthetic. I also built in some silver pieces that kind of catch the shine. Totally not because I was running out of light bluish gray and needed more. I want to build the tip onto the front of the sword. So what we do is take some of our wedge plates here, then we just gotta come up with some sort of assembly that will go on the front. Boom, there we go. Now that's pretty sharp. And all we gotta do to finish the blade is just finish this side here. For the handle, I'm just gonna add a bunch of brackets to it, and then we'll be able to snap down plates on the sides to round it out. Here we have the glorious longsword. Actually, I feel like this turned out really well. It was starting to look like Kylo Ren's lightsaber, so I added these little like bulbs to the end of the hilt, and I think if I don't hit any light bulbs, we should be good to go. I think it's swingable. I'm gonna stand back a little. We'll see what it does to some fruit. Starting with a banana. Not a very clean cut, but didn't break the sword either. That's just like Fruit Ninja. This is pretty cool. All right, we got a grape coming in. Oh gosh, not that hard. Oh. I hit it. I hit it. Look, everybody heard that. See? Bet you can't do that at home. Here we go, orange. Dude, straight in half, let's go. Check it out, straight in half like that. Now longsword versus watermelon. Man, these watermelons are durable. It works on all the other fruits except for the watermelon. Okay, yeah, this is pretty cool. I didn't think these things would be sharp or work at all. This is a 9 out of 10, mainly because it's just a little flimsy right here. Yeah, you hear that cracking? All right. This is gonna look delicious at the end. Let's build the next one. For our next weapon, we're gonna build a spear. For that, we're gonna use wedges. These are actually wedge plates, but we're also gonna use these kind of wedges to make it sharp like that. So for the tip of the spear, we can use 2 of these on each side, and then we need to find a way to attach them together. Unfortunately for us, I'm actually out of those special red pieces I was using earlier. So, guys, I found something. We set these on the bottom here, put more on the inside, and they fit back to back, which is dope. And then what you do is you stick them together like this. I just gotta play around with the shape until I get something that's strong enough, but still has this kind of design. All right, guys, check this out. I've created this really dope shape. Honestly, this is pretty sharp. We just peel off one side here. Look how simple that is. Not illegal at all, and we already have a Technic brick on the inside that will feed into the handle and connect to that. Now, we need to build the handle for it, which I'm just gonna lock together a bunch of these Technic pieces. Again, we're gonna make it 3 wide, like this, and hopefully it'll all lock together in a way that isn't extremely wobbly. Here's our Lego spear, check it out. We added some Lego ribbon at the end to kind of give it a nice tied-on look. Not super unsturdy. Not super sturdy either, okay? We'll test it. That's the whole reason we're here. We have a pineapple. I can't really throw it, but I can stab it. We might need to go at this another way. Wow, this is probably better. It's probably way sharper. Yeah, it was sharper with just the Technic piece I put on the inside. I mean, the handle's still together, so maybe we could like... Oh no. I broke the Lego piece off. Yeah, this is a 1 out of 10, just completely broke. It was cool though. The next weapon we're gonna build is nunchucks. I think what we can do is make some chain links out of these Technic pieces by just arranging them in such a pattern, and boom, there we have a chain link. Now if we just build a few more of these, we can link them together and make an actual chain that'll go between the 2 nunchucks. You ever seen that magic trick where you just go like this? And then they're like connected together? It's kinda cool. Now we have a chain. This is actually perfect. Now we just gotta build the chucks, which will go on each side of this. I think the best way to do this is by building up 2 pillars using brackets and Technic bricks. On the outsides of these pieces, we'll just take a bunch of these brackets and overlap them. That way we can cover the outside. This is how you make strong builds, okay? I want to say this is the same thing over and over, but it's basically the same thing over and over. To make the nunchucks round, I am going to use a bunch of slopes. And I think dark red is a good color to use. It's gonna look cool. The last thing we gotta do is just attach the chucks to the chain. And so I think if we use one of these frictionless pins here, we should be able to just lock this in here like this. Yeah, that ought to do it. What could go wrong? Let's test these out. Next up, we have our nunchucks. As you can see, we added some cool gold details, and they actually look like nunchucks. You can swing them around. I think you can do that thing where you go like this. Cut this together like I'm doing it really well. I feel like a real ninja right now. First up, we got a mango. I don't know how this is gonna go. I think you gotta build up momentum. Didn't even work. So close. Well, we got one half left. Yeah, that's actually really quite disappointing. As cool as these were, 1 out of 10, they broke. 3 out of 10 because they were cool. We also didn't cut our mango, so now we gotta figure out how to do that. I didn't bring any real knives. Oh, this looks so good. So good. The next weapon I want to test is a scythe. A scythe basically has a blade on the top and handle, which is long or short. We're gonna make our handle short, and for that, we're gonna need a bunch of slopes. Also, I want this to be like sharp. I'm gonna try and lay out the right shape, and hopefully we can make that happen. I think I got the right shape built up here, so now I'm just adding a few slopes to the top, like that, then some tiles to clean up the shape. Just maybe we can add a tile across it to really strengthen it up. And there we go, check it out. To make the handle for this, you guessed it, we're gonna link together more Technic bricks. So we're gonna separate 2 of these by 2 plates on each one, and then put some brown plates on the outside of this, and this thing should fit right here. We can put it together with a little piece. 1 more of those on the other side, and I think, hey, actually, not bad. I'm gonna finish building up the skeleton to this handle, and then we'll add some gold pieces and details so that it'll look cooler. We got all sorts of these gold pieces, and I'm thinking we can use them to make this guy look cool, like an actual ninja weapon. I think it'll really liven it up a little bit and make it less boring. And also I ran out of these right here, so I gotta figure out how to do something, I don't know. But yeah, let's test it out. I hope that was rolling. Here we have our scythe. This thing is pretty cool. Not the sturdiest build I've made, so I really don't know. I don't think this is gonna go through anything, but we'll start off small with some grapes. Watch this. It worked. We got a strawberry. I didn't need that part anyway. That's what I thought might happen, which is why I put a blunt end on the other side, so we can just... As cool as it looked, 1 out of 10. This thing wasn't strong enough the way I built it. Who needs a scythe anyway? Just get like a sword. Let's build the next one. The next weapon I want to build is a katana, and this is gonna be completely different from all the other weapons we built because we're gonna build it lengthwise. The way I'm thinking we do this is we lay out a bunch of these long bricks. We connect all of these together, and let's see if it actually bends just because of the weight. Some like this, I think should work, and then make it thicker, obviously, but this is gonna be the thinnest and better looking design. I think if we just restabilitate it with lots and lots of 1 wide plates along this, I think it'll work and actually cut. Now on this side is where we're going to actually put the handle, and so I'm gonna use brackets and connect those brackets here while we have this thing built up like this. Now we have the brackets on the handle like this, and we cover that with a couple of plates. To make the edge of this as sharp as possible, I am gonna use some of these little slope pieces. We're just gonna add these all the way up the length of the blade. And then to make the tip of this sharp, I'm thinking we'll just use a couple of these guys, like that. That should make it pretty sharp. Also have the little circular thing that's gonna go above the handle. This thing is gonna go right on here like this, and then we'll put our little capstone on, just like this. This is so beautiful. Now that we finally finished our katana, we can go test it out. The moment you've all been waiting for, the katana. As you can see, we have slopes on this part of it to give it like a nice sharp edge, which I think will cut through stuff really well. Also, this handle is just beautiful. I think it's gonna be really cool. So we're gonna throw some stuff and then cut it out of the air. Listen to this noise. So first with the regular katana again. Oh, there we go. That's a clean slice right there. Now on to the Lego katana. This thing's a little wiggly. Here we go. Oh, first try. That actually kind of sliced. Look at that. You can see I hit it right here and just sliced it right across there. Hey, 2 for 2. Oh no. Did we cut this in half? No, that can't have been. Did I cut that in half? Dude, look at that. I mean, I broke this sword, but look, and this thing goes right back together. Dude, this is dope. We're gonna do bananas. Pitch. And that's why I'm glad no one was standing behind me. Now versus the watermelon. Man, it's always so cool until the watermelon comes out. Oh, that was cool. The katana is a 9 out of 10. I'd say best one of the video. The long swords have been the best ones so far. Well, here we have our beautiful fruit salad. I forgot to bring a fork. So, yeah. Yummy. Today I'm gonna slay the Lego Ender Dragon. You may be a little bit confused by that, but that's because I haven't told you how I'm gonna do it. So in another video, I built an 8-foot long Lego Ender Dragon, and I have to destroy it. And so I figured, hey, let's build some Lego weapons and do it like they do in the game. So the first Lego weapon we're gonna build is an iron sword. So my idea is if we take something like this, with a tile and then a couple 2x4 bricks on the bottom, we can sort of replicate that, build a bunch of those, and then all we gotta do is line them up with a few more 2x4s. And we should be able to continue this, and then we'll go all the way through it with the metal Lego axle to hold it together. So let's build a couple more of these, and we can lock them together on the bottom. These ones are nice because they're 6x6, so they're like the perfect size to lock together a bunch of these pieces. If we want to make this accurate to the actual game, each Lego pixel needs to be at least 2 studs. So basically, that is a pixel right there. Basically, these all line up in a line, and then you have a sword. Mine's gonna be extra long, probably like that. Let's get our metal Lego beam. This is a special Lego piece from Metal Technic Parts, and as you can see, it'll go right in the center of our build here. You know, to just make it more sturdy. But now what we can do is we can take all these and put them on the bottom, see on how this will line up here. All right, guys, check out my pro strategies. Now that we got this, we just slide in our bricks like that in the gaps and lock those together with a plate so that it really locks everything together. We'll add some 2x4s and then we'll fill the gaps. Now if we flip this, is this pretty flimsy? Yeah. If we put a couple more tiles on top though, it might just work. We have the start of a cool sword. So that's the plan. Now we'll just continue this technique all the way down the sword, and then for the end here, I'm thinking, see how that fits in there like that? What if we used a special Technic piece? This piece here, which we could just shove in there, and then on the bottom of this, it'll just snap in to this little connector hole right there. Totally not illegal or anything. What? Now let's keep connecting these sections with 2x4 plates. I hope this looks cool. All right, now to finish off this top part, we'll just add a layer of 1x6s. Cool, and then I'm wondering, a few gray tiles, will that make it weird? I know there's actually some color variation in the actual one. I'm kind of running out of light bluish gray tiles, so dark bluish gray will have to do. Now we have the blade, and as you can see, it's stuck inside this with this metal axle, which will really keep it strong when we're swinging it. And we also left some sticking out the end so we can attach the handle, which is gonna be more or less the same thing, but less uncomfortable, because honestly, I don't wanna hold on to this while I'm swinging it. That's really bad design.
Gosh, Minecraft.
So, the plan is now to build up the handle after I look at a picture of it. Okay, images. So for the handle, what we're gonna do is we're gonna go out right here using a few more plates, such as these. I kind of had to make some guesstimations here because this isn't exactly accurate to the one in the game, but it's pretty
As accurate as we're gonna get, okay.
And now we'll just lock together the bottom part and then build out the handle, which has some brown pieces on it. Cool, okay, that's great, honestly. So now, the handle, it's actually gonna be 1 pixel shorter, so we're gonna do 3x3 instead of 4x4. We got some brown bricks. I've been waiting to use these. Okay, we add these in here. That still gives us enough room for the Technic beam, but it locks together those plates so we can add our pixels like that, right? Yeah, and then we just gotta keep doing that. Just like that. Now we should be able to finish up the handle. Cool, wow. Okay, flip this over real quick. Lock some stuff together down here. What we all do, Yes, there we are. It's really uncomfortable to hold, but it swings, and it might break into a million pieces, but we'll see. Now we have 1 weapon to slay our dragon, but I don't think 1's gonna be enough, because when you go to the end to slay a dragon, kinda geeking out here, but when you go to the end to slay a dragon, you use a bow and a water bucket. Not sure if that one's really necessary, but the next weapon we're gonna build is a bow. So to build a bow, we're gonna build a bow shape, like the one from Minecraft, that's pixelated and pretty accurate, and then we'll just build an arrow, and then we'll just attach a bungee cord to the bow shape, and so we just make the string stretchy instead of the bow, so it'll actually work. Don't do this at home, because danger. So we're gonna use 2 colors for this. Brown, reddish brown to be exact. And then we're gonna use dark tan sandwiched in between the dark brown to vary a. So the thing is, brown Lego plates are literally like the weakest there is, but we can lay this out with plates to see kind of what we need to do. Now we add a few more plates on the edges, kind of solidify our design. Now we lock it together with Technic bricks because these are stronger than the brown pieces. 2 pins to that. Nice. I know right here, the handle is built out of these bricks. We can actually just lock those together, and since I know these aren't gonna break, we can lock that together temporarily like that, and that kind of helps us out. This is not gonna work, wow, okay. Oh God. We'll make this 3 layers thick, and we'll connect it in the middle layer with a plate so that it's really, really sturdy. But now, we need to add brown bricks around the entire outside, basically. Now we have the first layer, and as you can see, that's not gonna work. So, next layer, we add plates to really re-sturdify everything. And I'm not gonna use brown plates because that would be really dumb, so I'm gonna use some of these plates. We gotta add a tool for this. Okay, how's that? Still not good. That's okay, it'll strengthen up on the next layer. So on the next layer, we do another layer of brown. And then right here, we'll use long Technic pieces that are gray. I'll tell you right now, there's not a single thing inaccurate about this at all. No, no, no. This is perfectly accurate and will perfectly, totally not fall apart. Now, we just got 1 more layer to add to this. That's basically plates and tiles. So, let's do that. So here we have our Minecraft bow, and you may be wondering, where's the arrows? Well, I forgot to build it. I'm just gonna build an arrow, and then we'll just attach a bungee cord to the back of it, using these little Technic holes here. And now we have our arrows, so that means we have our bow and arrow. Wow. We still need a bungee. Okay, so now we got our eye protection and a bungee cord. Now, will this hook onto this? Yes. This one's just made out of a few Technic pieces. Is it necessary? No. Have we done it? Yes. Is this stupid? Probably also yes. That's really all we can use to destroy this thing. So we got a bow, we got arrows, and we also have an iron sword. So let's go slay the Ender Dragon, because I need to take this thing apart already, honestly. All right, guys, here it is, the Lego Ender Dragon and our weapons. Let's destroy this thing. I have my eye protection. We will start off with the sword, and I'm gonna get a glove, because that really hurts my hand. Ah. So, to slay the Ender Dragon, you take out the wings first. And then you push your sword back together. It's designed perfectly, I'm telling you. And then you take out the legs. Probably the tail. Nice, nice. Right to the side. For the head, we're gonna use the bow. The sword is pretty much toast. It did well though. It basically took out the entire center. But do not fear, we have super arrow thing. Let's see if this works. Okay, that arrow sucks. This arrow, let's see if this works. We'll go for the neck. Once we sever the head, we should be fine. We missed. This is totally how you kill the Ender Dragon, guys, trust me. Oh, a good strike right there, bro. And that's just a really much easier way to take it apart. Except now I have to clean it all out of the grass. I'm a Lego inventor and I want to build a Lego Feastables chocolate bar launcher. Now what's Feastables, you may ask? Okay, Patrick, I'll explain it to you. Feastables is Mr. Beast's chocolate bar company that currently sells Mr. Beast bars. So since Mr. Beast is really cool and I want to throw chocolate at people, I want to make a chocolate bar launcher out of Lego that shoots chocolate super far. And also, since Mr. Beast gave me money in this box, I want to make this Feastables launcher shoot cold hard cash, because that is what you call philanthropy. Step 1, the first thing we need to do is build a frame for the launcher out of Lego Technic. It'll have 2 triggers on the handle. One of them will shoot the money out, and the other one will actually launch the chocolate bar. So we'll have to create a mechanism for that using like latex rubber straps to actually get it to launch super far. But we gotta make the frame first. Okay, I'm thinking it'll be about this big. We'll have a catapult that will swing. Now we just gotta build this up into a box shape since we don't have the elastic bands yet. It's perfect. Now we gotta build another one of these and not break it like I just did with this one. Okay, now we have the size of our launcher. We're gonna have the money shooter at the bottom here. We're gonna cover this thing up with theming, so it looks like a Mr. Beast bar. So basically we're gonna have to order a bunch of pink and blue. Now we gotta connect this sideways, but I wanna teach you a cool thing. It's called connecting things at angles. Connect it like that, and now, it literally strengthened this so much because this now can't move. That is called a linkage or something. Okay, now to just connect these somehow. Now we gotta put a layer of plates on each side of these, and then we'll add these cross beams going across to make sure it doesn't completely explode. It's looking good. All right, so we just finished our frame, and we also got our elastic bands. As you can see, these are very stretchy. So this will power our catapult. So we'll have this tied to a catapult that's gonna rest in here. Fulcrum point is going to be about here. That will launch our chocolate. For the next step then, let's build our catapult out of Technic, the strongest thing I know of. Okay, so we fixed that, and now this should be fine. Now we have a catapult. We're gonna attach the fulcrum point over here at the front. The release mechanism is gonna be really easy for this, and I'll explain that in a second. First, we just gotta build a little thing that can hold these bars right here. By the way, this video is not sponsored by Feastables. Now,
I feel like this is gonna work better than I'm expecting. Because these don't really weigh that much at all.
all right, everybody, it is a new day, which means a new chocolate bar. Almondy. All right, so this is what we got. We have a catapult. As you can see, it does this.
It doesn't break, so that's a plus.
The next step in this process is to add a release mechanism to here using a Lego motor. For the electronics for this, we're gonna use the Lego Power Functions motors. We're also gonna use the IR receivers and remotes for the trigger. So we'll put this in the handle. Now you can see this turns when we push this trigger. So to make this thing unlatch, we want to add a gear ratio to it, and then a simple piece like this. If we attach that to here, this thing should then just release it. Here is the very scuffed version of this. Bam, releases our catapult. This will need to be a lot stronger, so we need to add a gear ratio. A simple gear ratio would be with a worm gear. So the bottom one spins, and then the top one spins very slowly. So if we plug this into here, you can see how slowly that top part spins. Attach this. Perfect like that. Mount this back here. Now we just gotta build this up a little bit better here. All right, so now that we got our catapult built up, the next thing we need to do is build a money shooter. Because that's the next best thing to shooting chocolate at your friends. You're shooting money. So we have 30 singles, and I want this to launch one single at a time, and here's my plan. All right, now if we put a single Dolores, we can build up brick walls on the sides. We're gonna actually have 2 gear racks and a motor underneath this. The motor will spin the gear racks so that the spinning tire will actually lower onto the dollars. Now the money goes on the inside. Oh no, why doesn't it fit? Here's what we're gonna do. A piece like this right here. Okay, well, I'll fix this and then get back to you guys. All right, here's what we have. We've mounted the cash shooter right here, and as you can see, we have 2 motors and this little mechanism that will essentially push down on the cash when you pull this bar down here. We have the catapult, and that will stretch back down here. We move this thing down, so this thing will go all the way down there and get locked in. Let me show you the cash shooter. And now, as you can see, all we need to do is pull the lever down. That was so cool. The next step in this process is we actually have to take the whole thing and make it look super cool. So we need to order a bunch of bricks. So we got a bunch of pieces that match the Feastable theme. As you can see, we got blue, pink, yellow. So I've come up with sort of a design for what this thing should look like on the outside. It's got some cool angles and stuff. So we just need to re-certify this one last time and then build up the sides and make it look super cool before we can do the official test. Now we just gotta unbox all this. Check this out, guys. To connect these segments to here, we're gonna use a special piece, and this has several hinging parts. We should be able to just clip that in, and then we'll add the lightning bolt back. Are we rolling? That just, this thing just snapped off. Completely broke the bricks. Guys, there's been a disaster, but a disaster in disguise because I figured out a way we could do this. It'll launch further. We're gonna get rid of the catapult, and then we're gonna make a slingshot, and then we'll have these that'll pull back. All we gotta do is real quick build a little Lego thing that will hold a candy bar, and then it'll just launch. Wow, even just with that one, it shot super far. So we just need to modify this a little bit. Okay, so I'm trying a new mechanism here. There's a steel axle in there, so if we put this here, bring that up like that, and then we take this, which has a Lego string attached to it, and I drag it down and loop it. Hey, I did it, guys. I think we just gotta reattach the handle and work out a couple of the issues with that, and then we should be good to test it. Hey guys, we got it all set up right here. Check this out. We flip this forward, and your chocolate bars sit on top of that. I'm wearing eye protection because of safety and stuff. Hold it back here. Put the loop right on that. So now that's locked in. So you just push this in right there, and it is ready to fire. You can see right here, this is the trigger, and all I'm doing is I'm just pulling this like that, and when I do it enough, it actually shoots out. Here we go. Gotta be like 20, 25 feet or something. And then the best feature about this, turn on the battery boxes for the money shooter, this thing actually shoots cash. So now if I push this trigger down, the tire in here starts rotating. And then, the money shoots out, so that's pretty cool. Let's shoot some more. All this is doing is just releasing it like this. And then you'll just push the trigger back, and we go again. I'm gonna load in my chocolate bar, and Elle's gonna try and catch it. Just load it in like this. Here we go.
Can I have your eye protection first?
Check this out, guys. Now we have 3 loaded. This probably won't go bad. Hey, nice. It only took like, what, like 15 hours to build? This thing turned out super duper cool. 3 hours and 47 minutes ago, I had a crazy idea. What if I made Lego weapons, but the blades were actually made of ice? Let's see how I did it. So I actually wanna make 2 Lego weapons today. The first one we're gonna do is an axe. So we're gonna make the axe head made out of ice. So that means we need to build it in Lego, mold it in silicone, and then take the mold out, put the silicone mold in the freezer, fill it with water, and we'll have a Lego ice thing. We're gonna use this as the mold plate, and then we just need to build a quick blade that looks like an axe, and then we're gonna have one little hole in the end, so that way it'll snap into the axe head.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
It actually doesn't matter what color this is because it's gonna be ice. You can see that we're good. Okay. Let's also take some of these inverted tiles and we'll put those on the inside of this. So now no silicone can get inside there. All right, so after 15 minutes, we have our axe head. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take that thing we literally just had. We need to build a little retaining wall around this, and we're gonna make it a little awkward shaped. That's fine. Here goes nothing. What is happening? Silicone's not supposed to come out like that. I don't think we have enough. Okay, new plan. Here's what we're gonna do. You know, in my mind, this went absolutely perfect and just... Okay, before everyone blows up in the comments...
Yes, I should have used the actual silicone mold stuff that you can pour. I know, I didn't have that.
While we're here, I'm just gonna do the same thing for the blade on this, because this is going to be the knife. Also, I forgot to wear a respirator. It's on my other finger now, too. I'm not sure if now's a good time to mention, I've never done this before, or seen it done. Okay, we gotta wait for this to dry. Okay, so it has been a while, and that didn't work. So then I remembered a Grant Thompson video. So the King of Random, he made this stuff called Proto Putty, and now I'm going to recreate it. Quick warning, do not do this. Also, do not make ice cubes out of this. It is not edible. You find edible silicone online, okay? Am I yelling? Is that a spider? Alright, so we'll try that, and if that doesn't work, we'll figure it out. But I'm gonna cover the axe head just like this. The axe head actually has like a pattern on it because of the silicone that didn't come off. So maybe that'll add to the ice texture. I don't really know. Alright, so here I've got the second one, and I just went ahead and molded it on the table. Really hope this one did better than the last one, but I fixed the last one, it's all good. So, now we just gotta pop this in the freezer, but let's get back to building the handles. Okay, so the next step is to take these two things that we molded and create handles for them. So the knife, we want this part of the knife right here to go into the handle, and then we can put a little lock through. This is gonna be made of ice, obviously. Let's start with the axe head. We just need to build a long stick with some cool designs, and then I have this really cool thing. So inside the knife, I'm gonna put this flashlight right here, and this thing is pretty sick. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna put this inside. That'll make the ice actually glow. You can put like a little blue brick or something. I think it's gonna be pretty cool. And same with inside this thing, we're gonna use a bigger flashlight and put it probably right there or something. I'm not exactly sure. All right, and this is the color scheme I wanna go with. So I'm gonna use mainly white, the highlights, and we'll have blue, and we'll have this. So it'll look very ice, frost, giant-y. I don't know a better way to put that. All right, so the first step to making a handle is we're gonna connect a ton of these. You can see that's just some of these brackets and plates and stuff. Now we can lock this all together with plates. That'll make a really strong handle. And at the front, or at the top of this, we'll connect that, and then we'll add a handle like this in different colors. Rest in peace, Lego Wilderness Sword. Okay, so now we have that. So let's adjust this handle down here, make it a little more styled. If you ever want two pieces to go back to back, you just slide that in there, and it origins from this piece that's kind of like a hinge thing. And then all you have to do, put another piece on like that. And it's very illegal, very not good to do, but it works really, really well. And then the flashlight, we need to put right back here, like so. We're gonna make this look a lot better now. It's just gonna take a little bit. We're almost done with this. We just gotta detail the entire handle, add some little mechanical bits to make it look more futuristic, and then we should be good to test this out, and hopefully the ice actually worked overnight. And as you can see, the flashlight on the inside is able to turn on and does work, so that should light up the ice really good. I'm really excited to see how this turns out because I think that's gonna be really cool. So real quick, let's build a handle for the knife, and then we can test to see if it's actually possible to make Lego ice weapons. Okay, so we got our handle, and now I just wanna fit this flashlight in there. Okay, so I've created a pretty decent frame for the knife. You can see like here, this thing comes out and there's a hole so you can put the knife that'll be made of ice inside it. So now we just gotta make this look really sick and really cool, and then I think the ice should be done and we can load them into the handles. Here they are, next to our popsicles. Whoa. Yo, okay, I think they'll work. Okay, so here we have them. You can see it's grown frost. I think it worked. This one I'm not too worried about. It's just these little nubs on the inside where the holes need to be. I don't want that to break off in the mold in case this doesn't work. We need to do it again. Gently separate it from the mold. Oh, my fingers are so cold. Maybe I wait like another few minutes. Oh, that's really cold.
I'm not even being a weenie about this. Maybe I am, but that's so cold.
You know what? I'm just gonna run this under water real quick. That's an easy way to do this. Okay, note to self, don't run it underwater. The whole thing, I don't know if that's cracked all the way through, but this whole part is cracked. Just like so many different cracks. I'm gonna throw this back in the freezer. Yes, there we have it, you guys, and it didn't crack. Honestly, I think all you need to do is just like... So you can see right here the perfectly shaped hole right there. So that's gonna go match up with that one. We just need to put it in, but this is a little too thick right here, so I just need to kind of warm it a little bit, kind of melt it just a tad, so I'll do that. Okay, so here we have our knife shape. This is absolutely perfect. We just need to trim a little off this part. No ho ho! Okay, so I put it back in the freezer. Just kind of put those pieces together. Hopefully it'll stay together, but Gosh darn it! Okay, try number 3. Okay, do we have the thing ready? Will go down in history as the one and only Lego ice knife ever made in history. So now that I've successfully made 2 weapons out of ice, I don't know how successful that is. Ice is like literally the most fragile thing ever. It's like glass. It's like, why would you make a weapon out of that? All right, guys, here we are, finally at the end of this long journey. And I have 2 Lego weapons that both light up, so I want to show you that first because that's probably the coolest feature. This one's probably the coolest, honestly, just because it's so easy to turn on and it lights up. Like, check that out. That is so cool. It's like cold because it's been in the freezer, so it feels really good to hold. Stick around if you guys want to see me swing this thing. I think this one turned out really good. Probably better than the knife. I thought the knife would turn out better, honestly, but I mean, it was just the mold I made wasn't very great, so this is how it turned out. But it doesn't look bad.
It looks pretty good, right?
Can you make Lego weapons with ice? Yes, you can. Should you? I guess we're about to find out. Okay, so I swung it like 3 times. In the ice part, it's still on. It didn't break off, so I think it just turned out really good, except for the pieces that keep coming off. But I mean, like, dang, I did not expect this to work, and that says a lot because I really did not expect this to work. I guess now we try and smash something with it, because that seems like the next logical thing to do. Okay, this is how far this one made it. Actually not bad. Like, the axe is like still intact. We could probably reuse. We could probably, if this was still built, we could put it back in. That is insane. Okay, now I really want to test out the other one, see if that one's better or more tactical or something. I don't know, we gotta test it. Okay, so here we have the second knife, or the second weapon. This is the knife, and you can see, swing it. You know, the shape still came out and it still works. And let's test it on the same log as before. Does it cut? I don't think it's cutting. Does it stab? It doesn't stab very well. Well, I did what I set out to do, you guys. You can build Lego ice weapons. Don't try any of that at home, unless you're under adult supervision. 10 hours ago, I started building this Lego Iron Man missile launcher with a really cool feature. All you have to do is pull the pneumatics, and it shoots a missile. But before I show you how this thing actually works, let me show you how I built it. If you guys remember a couple episodes, I built this Lego contraption here, and this is essentially a repulsor. So when you click this button, it swings up, and since then I've taken a few pieces off, but you can see this in this clip here. So today we're gonna actually build one that launches this missile right here, and this is just a Lego missile I built. I've done some prototyping, and here's what I have so far. One of the fins slides into the bottom. We're going to use this thing right here. There's a small little spring, and you just stick it in there, stick this thing in here. All of a sudden, you pull it back. We're gonna need eye protection for this. So you pull this back, it shoots pretty far. So first, let's just build up this mechanism and figure it out so that it actually works and doesn't hit us in the face. So this flings back in here. So we'll need to push this in to load it while also snapping down the roof. So here's what I've decided to do. I've decided to make this pneumatic powered because the rest of the suit, it's pneumatic powered. So here's what we're gonna do. These here are Lego pneumatics, and check these out. The cool thing about Lego pneumatics is that they actually, this is the pump. So this would be what you'd hold on to fire the missiles. Wow. So we switch this over to this, and we can actually have a really simple system where you press these and the actuator goes up. So we have 2 actuators. We can have 2 that actually make this, the top of this poke up like this so that the missile will actually shoot out. So all we need to do is connect 2 of these. I don't know, we gotta figure out a way to do that. It was close to working though. That's what's important. We very well may have figured it out. So check this out, guys. Now, theoretically, if I lift this up, wasn't supposed to go that way. Okay, that clearly did not work multiple times in a row. Why am I still testing this? The issue is that this little piece in here, it's lifting the missile with it. We don't want that. We want the missile to stay there. So, I don't know how we're gonna get it to stay there because we can't attach anything here. Yeah, I gotta work on that. Eye protection. Luckily, luckily I know how to fix that. That really hurt. You know, we could solve this entire problem if we just got rid of the stupid fins. Forget about them. Wow, that scared the crap out of me. I was gonna say, wow, that literally works so much better, but not if it's gonna fly off and hit me in the face. All right, check this out. I lift this up, and all of a sudden, wow, that was incredible. Okay, so I clearly have a lot more work to do on this mechanism, so I will update you when I've done that. All right, guys, we are now 6 hours into this project. Here's what I have so far. I finally figured out the mechanism for this. So essentially, we have two little pneumatic actuators, and these will be connected to the control, which you'll hold in your hand. So this is the way the mechanism works so far. We have, as you can see, this, and when you push these back, or pull them back, it pushes these knobs underneath, and you can see, just like that. It'll be flush with the actual arm, the top of the arm, so it'll look pretty cool. Hopefully, you know, it could look like garbage, but we're not gonna let that happen. And there's a little pin down here, so when it goes up, it releases from the bullet, so check this out. Anyway, you get the point. You'll see at the end of the video, just watch to the end. So what we need to do now is we need to build up a second version of this. However, we're going to skip this whole top part. I just need the dimensions. Gonna make it a little longer. We're actually going to build up the entire Iron Man forearm, excluding the hand. As you can see, I have a lot of pieces over here and a lot more over here. So let's put it all together and see how it goes. Okay, so now we have 4 of these like plate things. They're about the size of my forearm. So now we're gonna wrap them around, and then we need to make a flat place on top. We're gonna make this a little bigger than it needs to be. Hey, it's getting there, guys. It's way bigger than the other one, but this is an Iron Man suit, all right? This isn't a sloppy prototype. It is a sloppy prototype, but it's not as sloppy as that one. All right, guys, so look here. Here's how this works. So I've connected all of these with mixel joints. You can see everything here holds its shape pretty well. So now what I need to do is just take this part up here, build the same thing on the other side, but you can see that this thing here we created, if we push these back, it will go up like that and the missile will shoot out. So you can kind of see what we're going for here. Now we just need to really get to work and just get this thing functional. Honestly, at this point, it kind of looks like a Cyclops alligator. Sorry, I know you can't really unsee that now. Neither can I, to be honest. Okay, now I'm thinking this will work now. Put the arm in, put this on. I didn't lock it down there, so that probably won't work. Oh, it pinched me! Ah. Okay, we're good. Oh, it's still pinching. Nope, we're not good. We need a little more room in there, guys, not gonna lie. So this is what it looks like, and actually it's not as bulky or big as I thought it was. I have absolutely no mobility inside this thing. Let's get some more room in there. All right, so now we've taken this flat structure and we've converted it into an arm thing. And you guys are probably thinking, wow, nice. And I think it's all clipped together now. Okay, so now we're at the stage where we need to add all the armor bits and the bits that actually make it look like the real thing. Because right now, this looks nothing like Iron Man. It's got some red on the top, but we want to actually take this to the next level and take all these wedge plates and tiles we've got and build this thing. But first, I need to do a quick test to make sure it works, or this whole thing has been for nothing. Eye protection on. Guys, it went like 20 feet. That was awesome. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm going to build up a 1-plate layer on top of all the mixel joints. It's really important because then we can add pieces like this that'll cover the mixel joints without actually interfering, because we can't really do that just straight on top of them. So I'm gonna do that all over this whole thing and then just start designing it based on, I think we're gonna go with the Mark 42 armor, but let's see how that looks. Gosh, that's so freaking cool. Like, isn't that cool? I'm so excited. I mean, yeah, we had to use 2 pneumatic actuators that were previously inside my Iron Man helmet, but you know, we could buy more. That's an official Iron Man flap right there, you guys. The shape is really coming along. All right, guys, here we go. We have the final version, and I'm pretty psyched. This thing turned out pretty good. There were a lot of technical flaws, and by technical I mean mechanical, because there's no technology in this. Anyway, okay, so essentially how this works is I carefully put my hand in it, and guys, let me tell you, this is a prototype. And there's a reason for that. I had only 10 hours to do this, okay? So you lift it up, it's loaded, so that's why I'm wearing eye protection. I'm also very afraid for my life. This should not be taken lightly, you guys. This is a weapon of destruction. Put it on like this. Okay, So now we buckle it on the bottom, and that simply consists of pushing these around and then hitting the buckle button. Now it's pretty bulky, I'll admit, but it is really cool. It's pinching me. Again, prototype. All right, now it is closed, so you can put the hand guard on. You're gonna put this in your hand, and then you hold the little knob here. So the way I'm gonna fire this is I'm literally just gonna stick my hand up and start pumping this thing. So as you can tell, all I need to do, switch this over to this and start pumping. Hey, check that out. This thing's pretty cool, guys. I just wanna show you this really cool function. You can actually take it, switch it back, and close it. And so even though there's no missile in there, it still looks really cool. You could even put a little Nerf dart in there or something, but you just pump it, and you go pew, and then you go whoosh. So now to reload this, we're gonna open it up, and then we're gonna shove this in there. And I have a little hole in the top so I can see how far to push. And that's it, that's how far. Don't do this at home. Honestly, just the fact that it opens and closes, that's the coolest part. Like, can we just enjoy the opening and then the closing? Like, just look how cool that is. Photoshop in lasers. Pew, pew, pew. Thank you. Okay, so after a few pieces fell off, we're gonna go for round 2. Okay, that was awesome that time.
Today, I'm gonna build 5 Lego shields and then put them to the test against some of the most dangerous weapons to see if they can actually protect me. Oh! For the first one, I'm gonna build a classic knight's shield. But the shields and weapons we're gonna test them against are gonna be getting crazier and crazier. Also, I'm legally obligated to tell you, don't do this at home.
I'm a professional.
The first step is to lay out several panels using plates in a classic shield shape, and then once we get all the curves and angles and stuff using our wedge plates, we'll come in with some hinges on the back to connect everything together and make it curved. We just gotta lock together all these plates. So as you can see, I have the main shapes of the shield laid out, and I also included these 2 little panels, which for a special feature we're going to add later. We just need to connect these together in a curve so that it actually looks like a shield. So for that, I think I'm gonna build a frame out of Technic. Specifically these little pieces, because they have just a little bit of an angle to them, and if we connect 3 of them together like this, we have literally the exact top-down profile of the shield that we wanna build. So if we just separate these with some axles in between, we can extend this even further and then just stick the plates onto several of these. So we're basically just building up a skeleton behind these panels to fit them together. So let's build like 20 more of these and line them all the way across the back of the shield, lock them together, and I'm thinking we just do the same thing for these side panels. I'm really trying to make it so that these pieces don't just pull off the axles so that this thing doesn't break apart. So for that, I'm basically just taking a couple of these little lift arms and putting them in here lengthwise to actually connect these ones together with a little axle that goes through. And so far, it looks like that could work pretty good. Now we just gotta add a bunch more plates to the back of this to lock everything together, and then we'll add the handles so we can actually hold it. To build the handle on the back of the shield, I'm gonna use some old Bionicle pieces. We'll use a few of these little joint pieces like that. And these we can actually connect into the Technic bricks that are already here using this little axle hole. If I bring this up like this, will that hold? You know, surprisingly, that holds decently enough. We just need a little thing we can grab on this side, so an actual handle. There's just one more thing I want to add to this, and that is going to make use of those little holes I added earlier. So if we attach some spikes to these plates I built, and then add a few of these little Technic hinges, you can see this fits perfectly in here, and now we have a nice little spike that we can flip around during battle. I don't know, I just thought it'd be kind of cool to add. So now I just got to build up the other one of those, and then add the design on the front. I'm gonna make it look like the Knights Templar emblem. Then we finally test out our first shield. All right, guys, as you can see here, we have our Knight Shield. This thing has quite a bit of coverage. I can hide behind it. I mean, it's life size. It's a Knight Shield. I also added a bit of trim around the outside of the shield, just using a different color of plate, kind of make it pop a little bit better. But here's hoping this one will actually protect me. We have 5 levels of weapons we're gonna be testing these shields with, starting with the least dangerous all the way up to the most dangerous weapons. And whichever level causes the shield to break will determine its safety rating. So we're gonna start with level 1, the ballistics test. We're gonna see how this thing works. Here we go. God. Hey, it's working. Oh, stop. Oh, we lost a few pieces on the front. Look at that. Well, I mean, the shield's still in one piece. All we gotta do is reattach a few plates, but I'd say it passes level 1. Next up, we're going to do the coverage test, taking paint-filled water balloons and launching them. So I'm gonna switch around my little spikes here in hopes that they will pop the balloon and it'll be less of an impact. Katana's gonna launch this balloon and I'm just gonna hope it doesn't hit me in the no-no spot. Oh! Oh man, it's red everywhere. It looks like a zombie just died. I want you to try and get this one like center on. You got this.
Oh! Oh my gosh. Are you kidding me? All right, guys, I had to take a little bit of a break. Oh. This shield made it to level 2, so I'd give it a safety rating of 2. It actually held up pretty well, but I kind of broke when I hit the ground. Still, let's build the next one. The next shield I want to test out is the Captain America Marvel set. And this is obviously an actual Lego set, but it doesn't even have a handle on the back, and it's super flimsy. So I'm gonna build this and then upgrade it to look more like the Captain America shield from Marvel Rivals, and then we'll actually test out the durability to see if it works. See, I've already kind of gathered up all the pieces we're gonna need. So let's build this guy up.
All right, I'm about halfway through the shield build. As you can see, the way this is kind of designed is in 36 equal sections, and they're all hinged using a combination of these little hinge bricks right here in the middle. And then out on the sides, those sections are locked together with these cool little 1x4 rounded pieces. And since they're rounded on the sides, they don't touch together and break. And so far, this thing is pretty strong.
I've seen a lot of people say that they don't like this set specifically because you're doing the same thing over and over and over just to build all the different sections. But I actually find it kind of fun because you just build 36 of the same thing every time. I just got to finish up building the frame of this guy, and then we'll put on the top sections, which are gonna make up the colors and the pattern that goes on the front of the shield.
Now all we have to do is take all our little panels and snap them on these clips around the outside. Just like that. And there we have it, the finished Captain America shield. Look at that, that thing is thick.
And actually it's pretty heavy as well, but not extremely sturdy. As you can see, each of these panels, actually it's not terrible. So there's a few things I want to add to this. Number one, a handle on the back. So because it doesn't have one. And then as you can see, it's just a little bit small. So I'm thinking if we have enough pieces, we can actually go out one more level of red on the sides here to extend it just a little bit extra and make it a bit bigger. Wow, that is actually a lot bigger. I think this is a lot closer to life size. Unfortunately, the only part I can take credit for is the outside part. So now we just need to add a handle to the back of this, and I already added these 4 little lift arms. I just kind of took this apart and put those into the axles that were already there. So that's a really strong connection. Then through these lift arms, we can add a few regular axles. And I'm just gonna add a single metal axle that goes all the way across. And this will make it super sturdy so that it doesn't break off. Let's see. Oh, dude. That is really strong. And that's actually quite comfortable too. Look at that. I'm just gonna add a few little detailed upgrades, just kind of adding some plates and tiles to the outside to kind of bulk up some areas and make it look a little bit more high tech. And then we'll finally be ready to test this guy out. So here we have our Captain America shield. As you can see, I added a lot of technological details on the front just to kind of make it look more futuristic. And we also extended it. So this is actually quite a bit bigger than the original Lego set. So it's time to test it out. Dude, I feel safe already. Oh yeah. Oh, it's still working. Right in the... Gee, did you do enough damage? Hey guys, it's still together. Minor damage. Let's move on to the next test. Guys, let me also introduce you to our test dummy. This is Bryce, as you can see. For a few tests, we're gonna mount our shields to this pole here, and Bryce is gonna hide behind because some weapons, it's just not safe. Oh! Good man. Next up, we're gonna do the projectile test. So we have a slingshot and a bow and arrow. Let's see how it does. That one went straight through. Definitely not bad. Let's move on to archery. Actually, it deflected that decently well. Like, it didn't hit the dummy, which is kind of impressive. I'm gonna give this one all the power. Ooh, actually that one did hit the dummy. You can see it hit him right there. Well, I'd say that this one does not pass the second test. Unfortunately, we gotta give this one a rating of 2, which is not great. Let's build the next one. The next one I wanna build is a shield that actually folds out on your arm. So essentially it'll just be an arm guard, but when I push a button, it'll be motorized so that 2 flaps fold up to extend it as a shield. So let's start with the base of panels and build it up from there. I think for this one, I'm gonna make it look a little more futuristic. So I'm gonna go with the color scheme of light blue and black. Before I figure out how this is actually going to fold, I need to create an arm mount on the inside of this one that'll be comfortable enough to wrap around my arm and sturdy enough so that the whole thing doesn't fall apart. And I think the best thing to do for that is to build up a layer with Technic bricks on the back of this, and then we can build some mixel joint straps to go around my arm. We can just snap together these Technic bricks using some of these black pins, and doing this will help us create a really sturdy frame that we'll attach the joints to. That way they won't just rip off the plates. Because I've done that before, and that's how your whole shield breaks. There we have a sturdy base. To strap this guy to my arm, I'm just gonna build up some straps using mixel joints. And that should give us enough flexibility to be comfortable and also strong enough to hold on your arm. So, funny story from my week. In my last video, I built a giant Lego space station. It was like 35 pounds, super heavy, and like 6 feet long. I said at the end of the video, like, hey, I might hang this up in the studio. That'd be pretty cool. So we decided to do that after I had finished shooting and all that. So we put it on the lift and we lifted it 20 feet up in the air to hang it from the beam. And after hanging it, about 5 minutes later, I just walked through the yellow door and I heard this really loud crash. The entire spaceship had fallen from the safety chain that actually broke 20 feet and just shattered into a billion pieces. This is like 25 hours of work. And so yeah, guys, we don't have the space station anymore. Praise the Lord, I wasn't under it. It was like a split second after I'd walked inside. Anyway, we got these straps to actually soften them so they're a little more comfortable. I'm gonna put some little boat pieces on the bottom here. This will make them so they don't pinch a bunch of hairs. And then we have some nice straps which we can put around the back of this guy, right around. Okay, actually it's a pretty decent shield mount, and as you can see, it's really easy to take off. So now we can attach our main panels to the top of this, and we just need to figure out how we're gonna motorize the side panels and make them fold. First, let's just make some simple Technic hinges with a few pieces to connect these together. Snap that on. We're gonna need a lot of torque to actually move this guy. And so if we build up some sort of worm gear assembly using a little worm gear connected to this motor here, this should not only give us a lot of torque, but also make it so it spins pretty slowly. Oh yeah, that's perfect. So now we just have to figure out a way to install 2 motors, a battery box, a remote control, and our worm gears to this, and still be able to fit our arm in there. So this might take a little while. All right, I think I got the mechanism figured out, which means if this works, all we have to do, the heck? Bring that up in a minute. As you can see, it closes, and then it opens like that. There's a few tiny little things that keep snagging on each other, but the mechanism on the back is working, as you can see. I just got 2 motors that are mounted on the top, and then I have some 90-degree actuators that move that rotational movement down to the worm gears. So a few little bug fixes on that. The last thing I gotta do on this is just add some cool details to the outside and just make it look a little bit better. And then be able to test it out. Before we test out this next one, make sure you subscribe so you can become a member of the Brick Science Stud Army. That way you won't miss any of our future videos. As you can see, we have our arm guard shield, so it's pretty cool. It does cover the whole bit of your arm, so I kind of tried to design this like that one shield from Captain America in Infinity War, but as you can see, mine actually opens up to become a full-size shield that you can hide behind. Now, I don't know how strong this is gonna be, but that's what we're here to test. Do your worst. Oh, no. Oh no, I broke it already. Gosh darn. Now, the true test is, can I put this back on? If I can, does it still work? Yes, it does. So not great, it's a little small, but let's move on to the next test anyway. To test the projectiles on this one, we're going to tape our dummy's hand, and then we're just gonna put it on his arm. We can shoot it from there. We'll start with our slingshot here. There's not a lot of coverage with this shield, that's for sure. Actually, that did deflect that shot. Let's move up to some more dangerous ammo. Oh, that is not ideal. As you see, we cracked that plate right there, so it hit right there, but our shield just got demolished completely. You know, I'm realizing with these Lego shields, they're not super sturdy. So for this shield, I gotta give it another rating of 2. So far, we haven't had any shields make it past the 2nd level, so we gotta up our game. For this next one, I wanna build a propeller shield, which is basically going to have several blades that spin really fast to see if you can throw stuff and it'll actually deflect. So first step for this, we need a motor powerful enough to run it. So we have these L motors here, but as you can see, it spins pretty slow. So I'm gonna connect 2 of these motors together in sequence and then add a gear ratio to make our propeller spin as fast as possible. What we wanna do is have the motor connected to a large gear and then have the propeller connected to a smaller gear, something like this. Look at how much faster that is. But it also means it has quite a bit less torque because of that gear ratio, which is why we're gonna use 2 motors. Okay, here we go. We have our holder. Now, this is super strong, it's not coming apart, and we're ready to build a propeller. And for that, I think the perfect thing is to use 2 of these gears like this, because not only do they have an axle hole for our metal axle, but also they have connection points on the top where we can connect our propeller. So my thought is, if we just take some little pins like this and put them in a little pinwheel pattern, then we can take 4 lift arms and go out from there. And now if we sandwich one more in front of this, we have the start of a propeller, and that thing is pretty strong. See guys, it's super powerful. Now I'm just gonna extend these guys out and build them up with plates and make them a little thicker so they can actually deflect stuff.
So I did some tests with this gearbox and the motors do not have enough torque to turn this. So we're just going to use a single motor because look how fast this goes with just one. And it doesn't need anything else. And I should wear eye protection. That was such a waste of time, but it'd be cool for something.
As you can see, I tried to build these as strong as possible so they wouldn't break. If we turn it on, it starts spinning really fast, and I can actually feel this thing. It feels like a gyroscope. The benefit of this shield is that you can see through it. So I can see. The drawback might be that it doesn't work, but if it does work, it's an invisible shield. Let's test this guy out. Start her up. Hey, it deflected one. Is it just shooting through? Ah. Oh gosh, this is not working for this test, but it also didn't break. So up next we have the projectile test. Pop it on like this. He can hide behind that, and we'll see if it hits the dummy or not. I actually can't tell on that one. It might have pushed it over just a little bit. Let's try one more. Ooh, well that deflected it. Oh, it's done. Yeah, so it definitely hit like right here and then just broke off. Look at this, it hit right there. It stopped an arrow, so that's pretty cool. So I guess actually it sort of passes the projectile test. Next up, the sword test. Pop this guy on. I can definitely attack the guy from here, but maybe if I go straight on, it'll stop it. That's a no. I mean, it was definitely hitting the shield, but it also just went right through it. So I guess it passed level 3, which gives it a level 3 safety rating. Let's build the next one. For my next shield idea, I want to build a giant blast shield that I can fit my entire body behind with a plexiglass panel in the front to shield me from my future experiments, because I do a lot of them on this channel. So my plan is to repurpose the old Lego bed we built, which is comprised of several layers of Technic and bricks because it's super strong already.
Also, this thing's about 6 feet long, so it's the perfect height for someone to hide behind. As you can see on the inside of these, I used Technic bricks to lock together the layers vertically, and those tan pieces are stacked plates going across in both directions. First thing I want to do for this is take off all the blue plates and replace them with gray. I mean, just look at all the work that went into this bed. Every single layer is locked together. Now, to replace it with gray. I need to add some triangular legs to this that are going to come up like this and then make it so it doesn't tip over. So for that, we're gonna need to put some Technic bricks right here in this wall. And we'll just make sure that each one of these Technic bricks has 2 plates in between it so we can cross-connect a piece on the outside. And to build the window for this, we actually have this perfectly cut piece of plexiglass, which we actually need to peel off the stuff still. That was not satisfying at all. Okay, then to hold this guy in, if we take a layer of plates, snap that on top, that should pinch it right in between those Technic pieces. So I'm just gonna build that up real quick, and then we'll add the legs that are gonna make this be able to stand up. For the legs on our blast shield, I wanna build a few more of these, which are really strong Technic beams, and then link them together in a triangle shape. And what makes these so strong is that they're built in such a way where you can lock together all the layers vertically by just adding a single Technic piece across. When you do that, it makes it so that they cannot break open, and it's really, really strong. So I'm just gonna build up a few more of these long ones, and then we'll link them together and connect it to the main structure. Here we have the blast shield. It's a little bit windy outside, so I'm hoping it doesn't blow over. But as you can see, I can go behind it and hide behind it like this. So this one, I think I'm the most confident in because I've spent so many hours building it. So I feel extra safe. Let's start off with the ballistics test. This is so cool. As you can see, I have a fantastic view through this little window here. So I feel pretty safe. I'm untouchable back here. I've had it. Oh my gosh, that was scary. It definitely passes the ballistics test. Next up on this shield, we have the coverage test. If it hits right at the window and shatters. Oh, I got a little sprayed. We got a teeny bit of a hole, but actually for the most part, I'm okay. Wow, that actually broke that? It has a bit of a hole in it. It is still standing. Yeah, launch one more and I'll just go to the side of it. Ah, okay. Oh man. The blast shield's still standing, so it does pass and we can move on to the projectile test. That stopped the arrow. Okay, this is really working. Let's look at that. So as you can see, it stopped the arrows. This one didn't even touch our dummy at all. Look, the arrow just punctured right through there. And what's nice about this is these are replaceable for $2.50 each. Well, it definitely passes the projectile test. Let's now do the sword test. Oh yeah, wow.
It's definitely not going through. Let's see if you can stab it. Oh, you can stab through it. But it does also kind of stop the sword because of the friction there. I'd say it definitely passes the sword test. It's still upright. There's only one more level of weapon we can test against this. For level 5, we're gonna test the heat resistance with a flamethrower. Here goes. See that? Ooh, do you hear that crack? Look, it melted the Lego pieces. Oh my gosh, that's crazy. Wait, so that means on the back then, there's like no heat and no deforming on the back. And as you can see, our dummy back here is completely fine, completely shielded from the heat, which means that this thing actually works. I'm a Lego inventor, and today I'm gonna build working Lego Wolverine claws that can actually extend and retract at will with just the push of a button. Dude, that is so cool. Spoilers, they might be super awesome. On the off chance that they're not though, spoilers, they might suck. I'm just kidding, you can't put that in. So here's the plan. Step 1, we need to build the blades. So we need to basically find a piece that would work for that. We could use wedge plates, which do look sharp, but they're pretty wide. Axles won't work either because they're too bendy. So I'm thinking one of these slope pieces will work because they have the right shape. We just need to find them in gray. Okay, so after a little sorting, I finally found the pieces. These are these nice little slopes here, and what I'm thinking is if we just attach a couple plates, we can actually make these longer, and by putting tiles on top, make them actually look like Wolverine's claws. Set a couple of these. We want to overlap these as much as we can to get as much usable area, so I'm gonna use a 1x4. And that should give us some nice room to work with there. Nice, check it out. What kid hasn't grabbed like 3 sticks and done this? I have. So now that we have the claws, we just need to figure out how to make them go from this to this. And then I wanna make them each go individually, so we'll just build the same mechanism essentially 3 times. So that one can go up, and then the next one, or just whenever one you want, except for one combination we won't talk about. So the next step is to build a mechanism to actually make these move. And I have a pretty good idea for how this is gonna work. So we're gonna first put 3 switches on the battery box in whatever order, and we'll figure out a way to mount this to our arm later. And then on each of these switches, we're gonna put each motor. Just need to see what I'm working with. Okay, so now if we switch the battery box on, each of these switches controls its own motor. So in this case, what we wanna do is we wanna basically take this and add some gear racks on top so that when we put the motor here, it will spin and retract and extend. But we need to make this super compact because remember, we got 3 of these and we don't want it to be super ugly. So let's start with one of them and then we can just copy it to the other ones. So these are our gear racks, and then I kind of left a little bit of plate room on here because the thing is, oh, that's right, isn't it? This is gonna have to go up quite a ways. But that's okay, no one ever looks at the back of the claws anyway. So what we're gonna do is just kind of sneak these onto here. Now we gotta attach a gear to this. Basically the gear spins on the gear rack, pulls it back, and then to extend, we just flip the switch the other way, which is great. So we need to find a way to connect this so it's really compact. I'm thinking if we build something that changes the direction from here to here, let's go like that. Look at that, we've switched it, so now this can go right on the edge of the blade. That's a lot more compact. So now we just gotta attach these together and then we can duplicate it 2 more times and have 3 working things. Okay, so I have this prototype built up. We basically have this red axle that goes through. So as you can see, goes out and comes back in. The issue I'm running into, trying to stop this motor. Like, it sounds dumb, but like it needs to stop on its own, but it doesn't really do that.
Wait, I'm smart.
I just thought this through and I was like, hey, wait a minute. Put a corner plate right there. And then we put a piece here. This should stop it. So we stop it on this end with like the table thing, and on this end, it stops like that. That was a lot simpler than I thought, but that is gonna try and rip itself apart, so we need to really lock this together. Use a couple of these maybe. Right there, yeah, this, that locks that together. And now, this is so compact that all stabbing, oh, wait. Except for when that comes off. But that's great, because that keeps it really, really tight. So the next step is to build 2 more of these so we can attach them to our wrists. So I just got the other 2 built and I wanna test these out. So basically, this is how wide they're all gonna be. Man, if I could just move this motor to the top and figure out how to get it to spin this. Because right now, this is how wide it's gonna be. Which, isn't horrible for the amount of stuff we have to put into this, but it's not great either. All right, allow me to demonstrate the issue with this design. So it's pretty bad. Plug this into here. It's thinner, obviously, than this design. This is pretty bulky, but it has this problem. It has to stop And yeah, it's not even gonna work. I'm trying to fit these gears in a way where we can gear from this to this so that this sits on top, the motor, but then it doesn't screw everything up. And I'm having an issue with it. So I think I just need to keep like engineering this and locking things together like I did here. Like everything's just so compact, it's very difficult. We did it. Yo, okay, so check that out. So what I ended up doing was taking these gears and putting them on the outside of this, which locks it together, but it actually works. So now we just gotta mimic that design on these two, and then we'll strap it onto our arm. All right, so next up, we're gonna actually measure the power of one of these blades using the scale here. Super accurate measuring tool. So if we just put this thing right under here, attach the battery box, get our eye protection in case anything goes wrong, and boom. What do we got? 15, 14, 13, 12. Seems to be dropping from 15. Actually, not bad at all. So I'm gonna say about 10 to 15 pounds of torque, or force, or whatever. Not bad for one of these Lego claws. So the next step then is to attach them together so we can mount them to something on our arm. Look at that, guys. And each one of them retracts. That's fantastic. We just need to connect these in series like this. And then the triggers will go on the inside of my palm so I can activate them with my fingers. But for now, what we gotta do is just lock all these together. And my thought for that is to grab mixel joints and attach them to the bottom of this area. We need room for these gears to spin here. So let's not make it like super wide. Let's just do it a little bit. Let's try this. And then connect one more to this side. Look at that. That's basically what we want, except we just want to make sure that the gears aren't touching those pieces. So if we add a few plates back here, it's like way more comfortable. And then we just gotta build a handle that comes around, and I wanna build that out of something comfortable. Lego makes this cool strap. Yes, look at that. These are Lego dot straps, and these are perfect because they're flexible. So we can hopefully use these to attach to my hand and be more comfortable. However, there's not a lot of attachment points other than studs and these few holes, so I think we can attach it across here to be something we can grip onto. And then to make this smooth so it's actually more comfortable, we can just use these pieces. They're like round on the bottom, so we can put these on top of the plates, and then that actually makes it a lot more comfortable. You know what we might be able to do? Which is super illegal, but what if we stretch this around this? Hey, look at that. And then on the other side, we can just attach, we can just take this off, use the same ball joints we attached before. We want it like that. Snaps right on there. Check this out. Uh-oh.
Apart from that, it works.
We need a stronger connection in between the joints because the ball joints work, but not well enough. They keep snapping off. Okay, so after some redesigning, majorly, I redid the connection pieces without using mixel joints in the middle, so they're using these Technic pieces, which makes it a lot stronger. And then I also replaced the large mixel joints on the side with these tinier ones, so that we can stick this thing on. Just like that. And now it's not as illegal because it's not stretching the pieces. And look at how much more comfortable that is. It's just like not bulky. So now we just gotta really build this up so we can go around our arm. Okay, so I got two straps on, and basically this is something that just you hold. But what I'm doing now is just trying to figure out the pinky thing. So that's great. Now, I can access it with my pinky. Nice. So if you switch the battery box, they'll all go at once, or you could take off the switches here, switch it this way. And so now my thought is we just do one more connection that's connected with this at a pivot, and that will attach right here to kind of give it more volume. We're just gonna use hinges. Snap together some of these. We're kind of just gonna create a cuff for the back of it. So we'll attach these then with the round thing in a line. And then I'm gonna grab a 4x6 like this, and we can attach that to this. Look at that, we're getting somewhere already. Put it on, and then this thing goes right here. So now to attach these together, we can use probably one of these. Just help it not to move around too much. Nice, and then we just gotta attach some plates and tiles to this and bring it around towards the front so we can close, and some final touches to make it look better. So in keeping with the Wolverine color scheme, I'm adding in some yellow and blue. So I'm adding some yellow tiles here, kind of just complete the look, you know, complete the vibe. Because it's all about the fine details, the things that'll make it pop in the thumbnail. Looks kind of spiky. And I'm also gonna add some dark blue. Actually, bright blue might be better in this case, but we're gonna put that probably on the sides here. So that's my plan, just adding some cool details and make it look better. Make it look all Wolverine-y. All right guys, here it is, the final creation, the working mechanical Wolverine claws. I'm gonna show you how to put it on. You basically slide your hand through, and this is actually pretty comfortable with this little hand strap. You're gonna put your thumb through there. This thing, all the cables, snap into here using the brackets, and then this strap comes across, just like that, goes on the second notch for me, and then on the bottom, this thing snaps in right there. And that's pretty loose, so it like has enough room to move around. And then this cable, this one cable, goes to the battery box, which you hold in your hand or in your other hand, and you can turn it on and off. So here we go. In 3, 2, 1. Dude, that is so cool. Working Wolverine claws. Go back the other way. This is the battery box I hold in my hand, but I can also hook this up to the switches so you can do individual fingers. That's actually pretty cool. Doing them separately is actually a little more fun because you can switch the battery box around and just control them separately. And once you switch it around, the buttons aren't fantastic, but they do work. So this turned out pretty cool. It didn't fare super well in the watermelon. Ouch. Or the canvas test. They're not super sharp, bub. Which is a little disappointing. Does it actually work? Yes, it actually retracts and extends, which is exactly what we set out to build. Sometimes when you fail the watermelon and the canvas test, you have to think to yourself, how can I spin this so that it's actually cool?
Today we're gonna see who can build the best Lego armor and then test it out to see if it can actually protect us.
We're gonna have 4 hours to build armor sets in order to protect us from the Lego weapons that are around the studio that have been built.
And we can build whatever parts we want. So if you wanna build like gauntlets or armor or like a helmet, but we only have 4 hours to build these, so you gotta choose wisely.
And the timer starts now. So my plan is to build an armor set out of bricks. So I'm gonna have the front covered and then shoulder pads, which will connect it to the back of the armor. And the reason I'm gonna use bricks is because if I use 2x4s, I can actually make it really thick and hopefully strong enough so that any impact will be cushioned. So I need to grab some multicolored bricks.
I am planning on building some medieval armor for our chest plate to help protect us. So in order to do that, I need some of these guys, which I think will provide us the most coverage and should help us with designing the shell.
So I'm gonna start by building up the front of the armor to give it some curvature so it's not just like a big giant flat thing on my chest. And then I'm gonna build a simple mask to protect my face because that's an important part of me.
This is what we're gonna use for making it flexible. These will help us with making armor scraps to connect the armor to. I'm gonna see if I can start designing our shell for the chest plate and go from there. These will help us build up the shape for the chest plate.
So I got these 2 bottom pieces here, and my plan is to start building it from the bottom up. But I need it to hinge in the middle so it will actually fit around me. My first thought is to use these guys, which are like these brick hinges, so I can actually build these into here. Connect one side here, and then connect the other side right here. I just planned this about 20 minutes ago, so see now it hinges. Now I'm just gonna build this up a little bit higher until we get to the chest piece, and then I'll start building like the more technical aspects of it.
So this is my plan for the chest plate. I'm using kind of a chainmail design to make it so it can basically fit the contours of my body and be flexible. I'm not sure how he's gonna do that with his, because his is rather rigid at the moment. My plan is to basically split the chest plate into 2 halves and have a center line going down that will connect together with these treads. Now I'm gonna start designing the left side, try and connect them, and then go from there. And I think it's promising.
So I'm gonna build in some of these bricks so I can have like metal abs on here. And then to build like the armor pieces I'm gonna put on top of this, I am going to use wedge plates. And if I assemble these in such a manner, boom. See, putting the plates on top of the bricks has a really strategic advantage. It's not just there for looks. No.
Does that look cool or what?
Rock hard abs. I'm just gonna finish building up this bottom section and then I'll work on the chest piece.
The one key problem that I think I'm gonna run into is strength, because I'm kind of connecting these points at these joints here, which is kind of making these kind of flimsy. Hopefully if it's pressed up against my body, we won't have that problem because we're just dealing with impact and not really like weapons trying to work through the armor.
I feel like you're more cautious of getting hit than I am. I'm just thinking, how can I make this look cool? Maybe I should be more cautious about the sledgehammer and the
That's gonna
sword.
like shatter and go everywhere.
No, look how strong this is.
Shattered and it went everywhere.
It's not done.
If we just use a 2x3 like this, snap it on there. Now that's strong. I know you're wondering how I'm gonna connect it to. Well, down here, I implemented these little ball joints. And so those will go on some mixel joints, which will go all the way across the back and latch onto the back plate. And we're 30 minutes in, so
I'd say we're making good progress.
now we're starting to get the second chest plate coming together, and you can start to see how they're gonna come together. So I just need to finish the last bit here, and then I need to find how to do the straps on the side here, and then over the top. The problem I'm running into is these guys are flipping, and we kind of need them because there's a lot of gaps there, and I don't really want to get stabbed here because it'll break the hinge. If we put this here, and like another joint that would like connect there or something. Hopefully that will prevent it. That's the dream anyways.
I can't believe you came. I'm like so impressed you came up with that technique. That's impressive. Now I'm gonna build up a chest piece. So I think I'm gonna use a couple of these on here. And since these have Technic built in, hopefully that'll make it stronger if we can find a way to utilize them. Then on the front of that, I wanna build a chest plate that has like an Iron Man arc reactor, and that'll kind of link onto it. Now that I have these Technic pieces built in, I can throw some bricks on the back. I've decided I need another ab because this is too small.
Let's connect it together. I think that's decent. You just need to do straps, I'm thinking now. The thing about Lego, like once you build something too big, you just get to a certain point where it's very, very hard to keep it together because you're past that like scale point.
Dude, that's what I've been trying to explain for like so long. It's like the Lego paradox.
You just end up chasing your tail there.
Now we have the chest piece here. There we go, armor. So now we just need to make something to connect to the front of this armor. So I'm gonna lock together some gray plates and then we'll attach them to the front of this. Now we've got our chest pieces like this. These things go on there, and then we'll need to make them look better. But we just need to figure out how to attach these. Luckily, there's a lot of these Technic holes, so we could just use our usual technique using these guys, and then put them inside the holes here. And hopefully we can find places to attach these. Now, front armor technically completed. We just have to add an arc reactor type deal right here.
Do we actually have Dang. The problem with like working at Riley's studio is that he's like designed it for like a tall person, so like a bunch of these drawers, I just can't see what's up here because I'm not tall. All right, so put this like that.
Dude.
So this is the top of the chest plate. These go around. So from the back here, I can feel it touching my neck. If I make these like kind of swivel because they need to go this direction, so I need them to kind of be able to rotate, I think. And then I need to come up with the back harness that'll be like a cross section here that'll connect to the straps. I'm just trying to gauge this on feeling. I don't know if any of these ideas are gonna like actually work out, but I could narrow it down just to be one strap. That would make it a lot weaker, but that would also save me a lot of tread. I don't know, I'm gonna try one and just see how that goes.
So I added this tiny little connection piece right here. So I'm gonna take this guy, put it right here, and then put this guy on top like that, so it looks like cool. Add this thing through there. We can stick it in that little hole I mentioned before. Dude, that looks so cool, hopefully. So now I just gotta build the back part of this, which will connect, and then we'll build some straps to go between them. Then we'll build the mask. To make a strap, I'm just gonna connect a bunch of these guys like this. And now, this thing is pretty flexible, and we just keep that going a little bit. We should be able to make 2 shoulder straps, which we can just connect the shoulder pads to. These things are cool. Now we got straps. Hopefully these things will just connect the front and the back. I'm using the legal techniques on the back of this to help link these pieces together.
Could I get some help? They connect back there.
Nice system.
Just trying to see if it's too tight.
Dang, nice, dude.
Okay, that's cool.
That's awesome.
Yep, let's take this off.
So for the shoulder pads, if we just lay out some plates, we can get a pretty cool shape going, really, really simply. Boom, see how those pieces kind of like fit together better? That guy there, this guy right there. When you put it on, those will sit over your shoulders. So now that I have the armor part basically done, it's time to move on to building the mask/helmet.
I'm gonna keep designing the breastplate downwards and put some more protection down here. I honestly didn't think I'd ever get this far.
For the helmet, we just have to snap together a bunch of hinges so we can connect these plates. And then you just fit it on your head like this. As you can see, we have the helmet shape. Now if we pull this off, that's pretty much what we want. Next we just need to attach all the hinges to the sides of these. If you look, this is the same technique I used for the Iron Man helmet right here, except this one we don't have 6 weeks. And now comes the hard part. You just kind of take this flat thing and then attach some of these little mixel joints. Oh, did I mess that up? Apparently you need to take a 2x4 instead of the 4x4s. My bad. This thing snaps in right there. And now those are locked together. Now we just gotta connect the rest of these. All right, time to test it. Here we go. Ah, it's a perfect fit. Come on, that's awesome. Now we'll just put a visor in the front to protect my face, and in the back, we'll just kind of come around the sides a little bit. How's it going?
Going good. Just had a thought, if I do like tread like this, on the inside, that might kind of make this so it's not so bumpy. I want to make it where it's a softer impact, and so it's not like creating pressure points, like lines that you would definitely feel the impact.
I'm definitely gonna feel the impact on those shoulders on mine.
Yeah.
Mine's not built for comfort. For the eyes on the helmet, I'm thinking I just want to use a couple of these pieces, which are like these little icicles, and put them across like that. And now those are connected like that. So we put this guy on, it's working, and actually I can see out of it too, which is nice. It does look kind of stupid, so maybe I'll fill in this area. Then I'm just gonna add some simple details to the top of it to make it look a little bit better.
This area, I need to make it stronger because it's only being connected by the one joint at the very top. So I need to figure out how to reconnect it to probably around here. A little flat looking because it's just the base gray color compared to Riley's where it's like the multicolored monstrosity over there. Smile and wave.
Hey,
Okie dokie.
don't help me.
Well, you didn't ask for help.
Oh, it's on.
Nice. One thing about our setup is we won't have protection on the back, so we'll just have to keep that in mind. Just pan
I'm
out.
gonna hit you in the back, for sure, now that you've said that.
I'll make sure to hit you in the side where you have nothing. Aim
Yeah.
for those mixel joints. He's falling apart over there. Should I film this or?
I do need help, actually. I'm really close to finishing. I'm just gonna add a few final details to mine.
Like these glowing cables and a few more wedge plates to finish it up. But we're really, really close to getting this thing done.
Okay, I just finished mine. I'm super excited, looking super good. I'm really hoping it doesn't fall apart. I got the helmet done as well, and I added a special feature to it, which I think is gonna work really well.
Christian, how we doing?
We're just putting random stuff on.
Making like knight armor over here. 5 minutes left, Christian, you got this. And that's time.
Now that we're both finished, let's get strapped up in our armor and test them out.
Up first is Christian's armor.
The Molten Forest chest plate is complete.
You sound so confident.
I'm really proud of the connection point and be able to get this rounded because I think that's going to really help because it fits around my contours and isn't like a flat plate where it's pushing on certain pressure points.
The way he made this thing with just the fact that these can like hinge and stuff. Sorry. The fact that those can hinge and stuff, it's just really well done.
I didn't have enough time to do a secondary strap here, so like if it does get something caught underneath here, that is a weak spot. There's no bumps or anything, so it should be fine if pressure's on it.
I'm just going to hit you.
So, yeah. That's probably going to be the first thing that comes off.
Hey dude, that's super cool.
Alright, Riley's all suited up.
Here we have the multicolored Crusader. I got my helmet, which you can put on like this. The armor itself is pretty comfortable. You can see I got some designs on the back, some weird little details and whatever. It's actually not as uncomfortable as you'd think, except on the nose. I tried to make it look like high tech, but also made of Lego. And it has a really cool feature. All I do is flip this switch, and the lights turn on. And then I got these shoulder pads up here, which are just like, they kind of hang on. I don't know why I put those there. I thought they'd do something, but really they just, I don't know what they look like. And I can see through this, like, how many fingers? 3 fingers. See, I can see through this, for sure. We're going to be doing 4 tests to test these armors, and the first one is the projectile test. So let's see if these work. I'm a little nervous.
Alright, so for the first challenge, we've got a couple Lego explosives, and we're gonna throw them at Riley. 3 of them. So how you
Sweet.
feeling?
I got eye protection under my eye protection, so feeling good.
Alright, I'm gonna try and like hit you.
Okay, but focus on where you're throwing the explosives. I don't want to get hit in the face.
Okay. Ooh.
Did it work?
Yeah, you lost a little bit of your chest plate.
I barely felt it, honestly. It just felt like something hit right here.
Oh, sorry.
One more. Oh!
Hey.
I kind of survived, right?
Yeah.
Dude, only one, like, the armor's still intact. It's just the front piece and that fell off. Hey, and I didn't get hit in the face, so what would you rate that?
Let's say 6 out of 10.
6 out of 10, let's go. All right, on to you.
So Christian actually designed these Lego bombs with stuff on the inside of them, and honestly, I think they're pretty cool. Oh, good job, Christian. All right, here we go.
I'm most scared of you throwing stuff at me because I know your aim's terrible from the zing ball.
Watch this.
Hey.
Not a single thing broke. Oh, one little tiny thing broke, but not a single thing broke off.
We lost a strap.
Just one piece came loose. I hit that head on. My aim sucks.
You hit me in the leg, okay? Ah. All right, last one. Oh, that was a little close to the no-no spot, sorry.
I could definitely feel it, like right here.
Yeah, it's not broken though, which is really impressive. Not a single piece broke off your armor. It was just
One.
I gotta give his a 10 out of 10. No, I won't be that nice. I gotta give his a 9 out of 10 just because one piece broke off. Nothing else broke off. On to the next test, which is the Lego sledgehammer test. Christian's first since he's already wearing his armor.
I don't have a choice, guys. I'm genuinely terrified for this part because I know it's gonna hurt.
I know your chest is still behind. I'm not just gonna destroy it. I just want to test how the armor does. Ready? Did you feel that?
Yeah.
Did it hurt?
No, not.
Tell me when it hurts. I can't believe this is holding together. Dude! Hey, you are kind of breaking right here. Just a little bit kind of right there.
No, don't touch it, don't touch it.
Break it right there. I'm gonna give Christian an 8 out of 10 on that. Your turn. You go for it without breaking a rib. Okay. Here we go. I'm gonna take it like a man. Oh, yeah, I felt that one. Oh, there's nothing there anymore. Oh, man. You wanna rate that real quick?
I want to say 3 out of 10, but I'm gonna give you a 2.
Oh, how nice of you for going lower.
Well, you did the same to me.
There's one more challenge left, which is the duel. So we're gonna choose some Lego weapons and then fight it out, but we have to kind of rebuild these a little bit just so they're standing. It is time for the 1v1 duel with Lego weapons. Don't do this at home. My weapons of choice are the pickaxe and the sledgehammer.
And I chose the stone longsword.
First one to tap out.
All right.
Ah! Wait, that's a metal stick. Here.
Alright, I'm out.
You're gonna tap out? I was just gonna say, I'm not tapping out. Well guys, since Christian tapped out, I won that last round, but he still won the first two, so congratulations. Go get your third trophy. Today, I'm gonna build a Lego lightsaber that actually lights up and is customizable. And I had this idea, literally while I was asleep, of how I could do this. So I made a prototype. Basically, if we run Technic through the middle, we can use these clear pieces, as you can see here, and build out the lightsaber. In order for this to be a viable Lego lightsaber, it needs to do 3 things. It needs to be made of clear pieces on the blade, it needs to light up, and it needs to be sturdy enough to swing. Like, do this and actually not break. So that's the plan. The first step, we need to order a bunch of clear pieces so that we can actually build the blade. So as you see here, we have a bunch of clear pieces. And these are these little tubes. So you put 2 of them together and they make a round shape. And if you stagger them, it holds together, and this is gonna make up the blade of our lightsaber. And on the inside, we can put a long Technic piece to actually lock it together, and then LEDs around it, and hopefully it'll actually glow and work really good. So let's start by stacking a bunch of these and getting the length of our blade. At the end of this, we're just gonna add 1 clear round plate with a hole in it, and then we'll add this to cap it off, and we'll add the Technic on the inside. But look at that, now we have a lightsaber blade. For now, as you can see, it's not sturdy at all. That's the plan, guys. This is working exactly as planned. Now we just need to get Technic beams. I'm specifically going to use light bluish gray Technic beams because they're kind of hidden more than the darker ones would be. Now what we gotta do is lock a bunch of these together with pins. Look, we got more. We only have a 2x2 area to work with on the inside of this, so we gotta be careful what we put in here. My one worry is that it's going to be sturdy one way, like this, and then the other way it's just gonna snap. This obviously fits through here. We have that there. So now, if we hold this, the rest of it held together. It's not bad. And then as you can see, this is only 1 wide, so we can put the LED tape around it. Okay, so first prototype. It works, but it's not tight enough. Because the weak points are, as you can see right here. So we need to make it so all these little breaks in it are perfectly in the center of these glass pieces. Take this piece off. I'm going to take out this bar. We need to see what matches up perfectly between these. We get a bunch of these pieces and a bunch of these pieces. Attach a couple blue things in here. Theoretically, this fits in between here, and we can do it on the next one as well. And that's a lot stronger. And then if we just do the same thing on each little thing like that, that could work. Problem is we're working with a 2 wide space and we have to lock together 3 wide. So now we have like a chain inside of glass. I think we got the magic formula here. Let's keep going with this. We need more of these. So it's still bendy, which is not what we want. If we swing it, yeah, we don't want that. So what we can now do is figure out how to make it not move side to side in there. All right, so 2 weeks and a haircut later, I think I've come up with a working design we can use for this thing. So this is the old design. As you can see, this thing can wiggle around on the inside, which is really not good. You can still bend it like this. However, the new design is a lot more rigid. Now, given it's still Lego, it can bend a little bit, but it doesn't bend and break like this one. So I used the same design with the 1x5 Technic lift arms on this thing. The problem was we need this to sit in here like that, but this gives it a lot of wiggle room. Also, keep in mind, it can wiggle side by side like this, which is not what we want. However, we can't block that space off because we still need to run an LED strip through that area. The thing I did then is this. As you can see, this is where it fits into there like that, so we wanna go with this area here. And what you do is you put this little modified Technic piece in that side, and you put the jumper plate upside down in the other side. Now what that's gonna do is it's gonna stop this piece from pushing anymore because the stud from the jumper plate is now in that hole. So now if we take a tile, 1x2 tile, and put it on there, we have now created a gap on both sides for the LED strip to run through, and we've made it so that it is tight, it's no longer loose in this thing. So when we put two of these together, check that out. So that's why I did all the way across this thing, and what I actually ended up doing is if we have the jumper plate on the bottom on this side, here I'm gonna put it on the top, and then over here, put it back on the bottom, just to kind of even it out. Let me add the rest of these real quick, and then we'll put on the clear pieces. Put it like this. As you can see, that fits in there. It doesn't really wiggle around too much. The tricky part is wedging this in here. So you wanna get it around, see, like now that piece is mad. Okay, so now we got the last one on there. We have this locked together. So now we just need to add this to this. Just wedge this in there. Boom, there we go. So now this thing's locked together. If you make this too long, it actually won't work. So what you wanna do is probably put this part in the handle, like the handle around this thing here. You can see like right here, this piece is pretty bendy for some reason. So my plan is to take this, try and squeeze in one of these 1x1 studs. How does that work? Oh wow, that did really work. Yeah, that made it a lot tighter towards the end, so that's perfect. Let's go. The next step is to actually install LEDs in this, and it's a lot simpler than you'd think. Okay, don't run away. So I went on Amazon and found these LEDs. Apparently they're only red, but as you can see, the reason I got these is because they fit right in between there. You just turn it on, and these are really close together, which is why I got them. So all you're gonna do is simply feed it into that first one. It just goes all the way down. Assuming I got the right length, which is 6.5 feet, and then you just pull the rest of that through, loop it over at the top, and go all the way back down the other side. It'll just sit on both sides of the blade. We should be good to go. That should be our lightsaber blade. Now to turn it on. Let's see if this works. Yes, dude. A Lego lightsaber. Dude, this is like a dream of mine to have a Lego lightsaber, and this is built completely out of Lego, except for the LEDs, obviously. So the next step is to build a handle. And the way we're gonna do that is simply by taking this area and adding some modified pieces, and also making the battery pack smaller. So for the batteries in the handle, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make a quick battery box. Not super smart here, but I'm guessing what you wanna do. Take two of these like this, two of these like this, and then tape them together. And then we take this, and we want to tape these two metal pieces there. Now we just need to solder this together. Now we have these two wires that go into our battery box. We have the switch, same one we took from the LEDs, and we can put that on the side so that we can turn on and off our lightsaber. And hold this in here at the end. I'm just going to take my Technic axle. It'll keep everything nice and tight. So now we gotta build the handle. Right here, where the LED starts, and we need to make sure we leave room for the battery box, which sits right here. I'm trying to make this so it's customizable, so all you have to do is slap on 4 plates, and like, boom, you have a new lightsaber design. So I'm putting these little bracket pieces on the end of the lightsaber. And then down here, we need to do the same thing with brackets. Beautiful, mate. Put this right here. There we go. The other end of this, we'll just add a few more plates. You can hide the battery box in here. Now we have our lightsaber hilt base, all ready to add designs to. So that's the next step. So all I'm gonna do is just take off these plates, and we'll just build them up one at a time and add some designs. To start out, I'm gonna add some slopes. Okay, so now I have the sloped bit, and all we gotta do is just put that on here. On this side, I'm gonna add more of these, but add a jumper plate. I want this kind of top curve going around here, so I do that, and then I add that. Now that should continue all the way up to here. So let's add the rest of the slopes to finish the band around the top here. All right, so as you can see, I just finished this curve on the top. It has like a cool shape. I don't know, I like it. In here is where you're actually gonna hold the lightsaber. So what I'm gonna do is just put a tile through the middle, and then I'm just gonna add some cool details to it, make it look sick, and this thing should be done. All right, guys, here we have it, our completely working Lego lightsaber, and it is completely finished. I'm super excited to show you how this works. With the lights off, you can see if we switch this button, boom, Lego lightsaber. You can even get like the whooshes going, kinda. I don't have any lightsaber sound effects, so I'm just gonna do it with my mouth. This thing's so cool. The 1x5 Technic pieces inside of this are flexing just a little bit, which is giving it kind of that wiggling. Legos kind of have flex to them because they're plastic, so I couldn't get it to be like perfect, right? You can swing it just enough to make it real. This is just super awesome. I'm super happy with how this turned out, and you just turn it on and off using this tiny switch right here on the hilt. I'm gonna call this the Brick Saber, or the Tech Saber. The diffusion isn't great. I had an idea for that where I could just sand the inside of the Lego pieces, but I didn't know how you guys would react to that. Pretty sturdy, honestly sturdier than it was, so I'm glad I took some time to figure that out. We got this nice smooth shape on the hilt that turned out pretty good. It has a weak point here and here, but the rest of it's works pretty good. Huge thanks for watching.